happening. And I want us to go to Jevanjee, which is usually the home base of Bunge la Wananchi. There we have Esther Diana, who is keeping tabs on the engagement with Kenyans there. Good morning, Esther Diana. You are at Jevanjee. Just what's the latest? What are Kenyans saying where you are?
Well, good morning, Dennis. We are coming live to you from Jevanjee Gardens here in Nairobi CBD, and we're here to deliberate on some of the issues that are in the budget documents as well as the Finance Bill 2025. And right here at the Jevanjee Gardens, later on we're expecting the Bunge la Wananchi to rather come together and also deliberate on the issues on the document. And just to take you back a bit, this year's budget is an interesting one, this being the third budget reading under President William Ruto, and also the first one to be delivered by John Mbadi, the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury. And remember, this was initially the guy in the opposition. And now we'd like to look at the issues in there. And as you can see, the 4.2 trillion budget is the biggest under President William Ruto's administration, and also in the history of Kenya's budget. And also when you look at the Finance Bill 2025, this document is more, rather experts have said that this is rather a cautious response to the aftermath that, or rather the unrest that ensued after the Finance Bill 2024 was rejected. And when you look at this document, the government is moving away from introducing new taxes, but rather focusing on loophole closures. And inside the document, in as much as they're moving away from introducing new taxes, there are specific provisions that have raised a lot of concerns, including the granting KRA access to business, or rather private business data, and also the introduction of the 25 to 35% excess duty on imported goods outside the East African community, and also there has been the calculation, or rather the re-evaluation of the goods that are tax exempt, goods that are zero rated, and goods that are subject to 16% VAT. Now, the trickle-down effect of these is that the cost of living is possibly going to go really high. Manufacturers are being discouraged to invest, and also essentially the cost of goods and services are going to go really high, and especially on the VAT. This amendment is going to affect how Kenyans can afford health care, the cost of energy, and a lot of other things. So right now we're here with Mr. Tabu Charles, who is the chairman of Bunge la Wananchi, as we anticipate the Kenyans to come here and rather air their issues, or rather their concerns, what they want to be amended in the bill, and what are some of the areas in the bill that they do agree with, and what are the areas they do not agree with, and what do they think about the 4.2 trillion budget. Now, from the 4.2 trillion budget, remember that almost 2.7 trillion, this will be raised from taxes. Like, Kenyans are expected to raise 2.7 trillion shillings to finance the Dr. Ruto's budget. Now, Mr. Tabu, kindly join me here, and if you can tell us, what is your general overview of the budget as tabled in the Parliament and the Finance Bill 2025?
Thank you for this opportunity. I'm Tabu Charles, Chairman Bunge la Wazalendo, not Wananchi. The Chairman of Wananchi is coming also. We are going to be here together to discuss this matter of Finance Bill. So far, we have observed some pertinent issues that we need to observe as a nation, but we are trying to see there are some things that are happening under the table that we need to disclose. And as a developing nation, there are 3 to 4 factors that the budget should capture, because the budget is there to transform the community, but not to oppress the community. But this is a budget of oppressive. It is big in figure, but is a figure that it is not serving the purpose of the common Wananchi. It is just serving the interests of the leadership. So we want to see how much agriculture, because our food security aspect has to be observed in the budget. And also, you can remember last time we were given even the fake fertilizers, which was so bad and is very, very embarrassing. So what we need to do is just to check on the agriculture, because I tend to believe that a country that can feed itself, then the manpower will be there. But a country that cannot feed itself, then insecurity will be there. So if you see a country focusing more on insecurity, which means that they're oppressing their own people. And we want the budget to focus on three, whereby the agriculture and the health sector and also the education. I can add another, the fourth one to be infrastructure.
So would you say that this budget perhaps is speaking to the needs of Kenyans right now, rather the allocations in the budget? Do you think the government has actually prioritized key areas that are social areas that are touch on the Mwananchi?
They have tried to make what they can make, but they have not consulted us. The consultation should be wide on the budget. And there's no way that a rich man will work for the betterment of a poor man. And this is a country whereby people think of themselves, not the country. That's why I'm telling you, that budget is their budget, not our budget. Because what is the alternative budget of Bunge la Wananchi? Did they capture the whatever we put across? Because I'm telling you that us, we are looking on three factors that should be observed as a country. A situation whereby we only read budget, but there's still bills that are not yet been paid. Why? Bills have never been paid since 2021. And we have been reading budgets of trillions of shillings. So we'll find that moreover, these are budgets just to probably to quote us, but it does not touch. Look at the internal bills. Do they pay the internal bills to that budget? Those are the observation areas, gray areas that we are looking at. Because we find that they are more concerned to tell us the way we have borrowed, yes. But what about the internal borrowing? What about the suppliers of this nation? Those people who are supplying to the government, have they been paid to the letter? Or they are just there to go to court? Because we find most of the suppliers are in court. Kenya is a country whereby it's run by court. It is not run by the government, the executive. The executive role is more of a going down, down, and down. So we want them to wake up, to focus on issues of internal suppliers to be paid. We don't want suppliers to go to court. You are supplied as a government, and it's a shame you are taken to court.
All right, so you raise really pertinent concerns, and I'd like to pick your mind with regards to financing this budget, and we can look at the provisions that the government is putting in place to rather mobilize or rather raise these revenues. Do you perhaps think that these are measures that have been put in place by government in the finance bill, like the VAT on imported goods, the excise on some goods, and as well as giving KRA access to business data? Do you think that these measures will actually help the government raise the 4.2 trillion that is projecting?
Yes, it will help them, but sometimes also there's a hindrance. There's a positive on it and there's a negative on it. First of all, the aspect of we were talking about the data protection, the confidentiality of information about the people who are in business or who are in government, something like that. But we find that when you talk about data protection, and now the government wants to take it out, this is very bad because it will expose Kenyans to so many issues. I tend to believe that so long as we have right people doing the right things, there is no need for you to go in depth of individual data. Because due to lack of sincerity, there is high level dishonesty. And even the government themselves, being the custodians of our documents, we don't trust them with that. Look at the way the land issues is happening. Look at the way the CCTV of Central Police happened due to the issue of Albert. Shows you there's a problem. If a CCTV of a Central Police, so you see that there's a problem in an aspect of protection. Them themselves, they cannot even protect our documents. Now they are coming to us to investigate us and get access to our our data, which is wrong. Yeah.
All right. So thank you. And so maybe as we conclude, perhaps you can tell us what should we expect when the Bunge la Wananchi and the other one, Bunge la Wazalendo, come together here today? What are some of the issues that are really more like ticking time bombs that you feel like the government should address or the government should backtrack on?
Well, we are just waiting for that reading in the House, because we cannot disclose everything. The much that given us, probably there are some that we have not seen. So we are just waiting after the reading, is now we will know which were out and which were not disclosed. So from there, we shall expound after it. But what we know is that the budget does not touch the common Mwananchi. It has exploited the common Mwananchi seriously. First of all, This is a nation whereby people are crying day and night about job opportunities. You should open the space for the investors and then narrow the space for exploiters, whereby not Kenyans don't want to pay taxes. Kenyans are willing to pay taxes, but our taxes are not used in a correct way. As much as we collect, they are not using them in a correct way. They use them in their own gains. I want to give you just a simple question. How many members of parliament are looking for their bills to be paid? None. They have no. But how many Kenyans who are suppliers to the government, they are looking their bills to be paid? Majority are in court, others are outside knocking their doors for payment. That one shows you the budget is normally not for us, but for them. With them, they pay themselves. But us now, we are having bills from 2016, 2017 up to date, and we have been reading budget after budget. And then they should tell us in that budget the much they collected and the much also they probably had remained from the budget. Because if there is a shilling that remained, we should be informed that this shilling remained from this ABCD. But also, we should congratulate the president, because last time the budget he used, it is 2023, 2024. And you see 2024, 2025 budget was knocked out. So also, we give credit where it is. He did a good job for that period. He stabilized the nation in terms of managing the aspect of recurrent expenditures and what have you. So we should also appreciate what he has done good, but we can also advise where necessary.
All right. Thank you very much. And you raise a lot of very important issues, and I'd like just to point out that in this year's budget, the government is actually introducing 7 new state departments. This means more money is going into these areas, and important to know that these state departments were initially part of other departments. So, and when you speak about the National Assembly, this year's budget allocates around 48 billion to the National Assembly, and the Assembly is still saying that they are underfunded. So this raises critical questions on whether or not the government is prioritizing key areas, because when you look areas like education, basic education and the school feeding program, these are areas that are going to see budget cuts, even as the government allocates the single largest allocation of 701 billion shillings to the education sector. And maybe as we close, I'd like to speak to this gentleman here. Pengine kwa ufupi.
I speak in English. I know English.
You know English. Amazing. All right. So briefly tell us what is your expectation on the budget today?
The expectation is normal paying salaries, paying overdues. Now, why I came here purposely is that when we change the constitution and put up the counties to me, I'm giving them 0 marks. Counties are not performing, and we are giving them money, a lot of money. Now, when you look at Nairobi, everybody is coming to Nairobi to get 0 job. While in the village where there is farming, you don't pay rent, you don't pay anything, nothing is going on. So it is the job of the counties. The counties have failed us. So the counties should be told it is their job to create employment for their young, not these young people to come to Nairobi.
All right, thank you very much. We'll come back to you, but right now, Aseto, I take it back to you in studio, and we're keeping camp here, we're pitching camp here, and we'll keep you updated as more unfolds. Back to you in studio.
Thank you, Esther Diana, joining us from Jevanjee Gardens in the